Ladies and gentlemen, Delhi has voted, but what have its citizens said? Will Arvind Kejriwal be coming back to power for a third time in India's national capital? Come to think of it, Delhi is just a union territory, and a small one at that. You just have 70 assembly seats and 7 parliamentary seats here. But its impact on national politics, many people will say, is disproportionate, but it is what it is. After all, it is India's showcase city. It is India's national capital. What has the capital said? Which way has it voted? The figures, ladies and gentlemen, the real figures will be out only on February 8th. But there are pollsters who have put out numbers. These are exit poll numbers that are on your screens right now. And most of them, in fact, all of them that we have so far, have given the BJP a clear lead, a lead that is good enough for the BJP to form a government in the national capital after 27 years, which means, well, double engine ki sarkar. Vote share projections are something that we need to look at. We've already seen JVC. Let's quickly look at PMark as well. The Aam Aadmi Party's vote share has dipped to 42%. The BJP has gone up slightly at 45%, and the Congress at 9%. So the Congress has doubled its vote share. The Aam Aadmi Party's vote share has dipped, and the BJP's has gone up, which would probably explain the exit poll numbers. What about other exit polls? Are they giving out vote share numbers as well? We'll get that for you as and when we have it. But Tehseen, what does the vote share on your screen tells you? Because PMark and JVC seem to have pretty much...
That's true.
Pretty much the same.
One, this tells you this is the revival of the Congress. In terms of, from 4%, they've more than doubled, which is phenomenal. It also says what a fall for the Aam Aadmi Party from 53% to come down to...
I think Matrix is in as well. 44% up. Wait, BJP 46%, the Congress at 8%.
Mota Aam Aadmi Party 10% come hua hai. Congress has got about 4 to 5%, which is double, and 4 to 5% has gone to BJP.
Correct.
Now, in this others, I'm very curious to see how much is MIM. Why MIM becomes important is because Aam Aadmi Party seemed to not be taking stands on issues that were important for those who stood immediately behind the Aam Aadmi Party, that's the Muslims, and they seem to not be doing very well, and the Congress seems to be doing well there. So that is important. But what this also tells you is if these numbers hold true, what the Aam Aadmi Party did to the Congress in Haryana in terms of 5 seats. They obviously got less than Nota. The Congress has done worse to the Aam Aadmi Party in terms of vote percentage.
In Delhi.
Yeah, because, and the Congress has doubled. The Aam Aadmi Party did not double in Haryana, Goa, anywhere. In fact, they were less than Nota everywhere. But the Congress has doubled. But
what you're saying is what the Aam Aadmi Party did to the Congress in Haryana, the Congress has done to the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and if these numbers hold true, one person is responsible for this, Arvind Kejriwal ji. Had he not announced 90 seats in Haryana, had he not tweeted that, I think you would have had an alliance.
Ruhi Tiwari, would you want to come in here? We are looking at the vote share. And, you know, the 3 exit poll numbers that we are putting out as far as vote share is concerned is pretty much saying the same thing. The trend pretty much the same, that the Aam Aadmi Party down by 9 or 10, the BJP and the Congress Party up by 4/5. Are these numbers adding up for you at all?
Yeah. So, Shreya, you know, one thing I've learned about vote shares is that 2 plus 2 doesn't always add up to 4. It doesn't mean that just because Congress is getting X and Aam Aadmi Party is getting Y, if they were together, it would be X plus Y. No, that's not how it works. Vote transfer doesn't always happen to that extent.
That's true.
Sometimes it backfires. The biggest example I have seen, and I give a lot of people, is the 2017 UP elections when Congress and Samajwadi Party came together. It was expected to consolidate their vote shares, and it worked just the other way around. The vote transfer just didn't happen, and everybody knows what happens in that elections. So vote transfers don't happen that easily. It's not math, it's also chemistry. So let's also remember that it doesn't happen so clinically that just because 2 parties are contesting together, vote transfer will happen and vote shares will combine together to. It doesn't happen like that. So I don't necessarily subscribe to the theory that if they had come together, the exit polls would have said anything very different. I'm not sure if it really works like that. It can go either way. It's it's very difficult to tell till you actually fight an election as an alliance and you see how that is panning out on the ground. Otherwise, it's all hypothetical. It's a lot of theory. The other thing I wanted to just bring in quickly, Shreya, was one of my co-panelists was mentioning how Arvind Kejriwal has dropped the issue of corruption. Well, obviously, there are two reasons for that. One is that as an incumbent, you never raise corruption, right? I mean, you're the incumbent. What will you talk about? Why will you raise corruption? When he raised corruption in his early days as politician, it was because he was obviously a common man, an outsider, and the Congress was under a lot of receiving a lot of flack for corruption, both at the centre as well as CWG, etc. had happened in Delhi. So it was a very different context. He has dropped corruption as an issue, and he's gone to social welfare. So that's the pivot he has made in politics, not just in this election, but in the earlier election as well. The second reason he is not taking corruption as an issue is corruption as an issue, as an allegation against Narendra Modi just does not stick. Rahul Gandhi burnt his hands with Chaukidar Chor Hai, with Rafale ahead of the 2019 elections. He saw what a mandate that gave Narendra Modi. So it really backfires if the opposition tries to corner Narendra Modi on the issue of corruption or questioning his integrity, because that's something that the voter is not really buying. So I think there is a reason and there is a context as to why corruption has been dropped. One, he's an incumbent, and two, the person he's countering is someone against whom corruption just does not stick.
Ashutosh Ranka, if these numbers stand, and I know you're saying that we have our own internal survey, our own exit poll that seems to be saying that we are getting between 50 to 55 seats. I get that. But if the exit poll numbers stand, I think the Aam Aadmi Party has faltered, because by the looks of it, it has faltered. Exit polls, sometimes most of them will concur with each other. Sometimes they'll be wildly different. In this case, most exit polls seem to be saying roughly mota the same thing, that the Aam Aadmi Party is out and the BJP is in.
I would like to just first address a couple of comments that have been made by Ruhi and Mr. Poonawalla. I would like to say this on record, and please mark my words when I say this. Congress is not a player when we talk about Delhi elections. Congress will stay under 5% vote share. They will not be anywhere close to winning a single seat in Delhi, let alone talk about, doubling their vote share. There were a few clickbaits. They had their fair share of fun. They had a cool campaign, which might have seemed, quite fun to the people from outside. But at the end of the day, the voters choose political parties which are serious. The voters choose political parties which can deliver, and the voters choose political parties which have a track record of delivering. So number one, Congress is not a player as far as the Delhi elections are concerned. Number two, I think there was a comment made around corruption. Shreya, I think the very beginning of this campaign, when Mr. Kejriwal got out of jail, and literally the other day he right away resigned from his chief minister post. The first statement that he made, and that has been one of the stories throughout this election, was he went to the people and he has been very clear and vocal in asking people that if the people of Delhi feel that Arvind Kejriwal is an honest man, if the voters of Delhi feel that Arvind Kejriwal is not corrupt, only then they should go out and vote for Aam Aadmi Party. So the plank of corruption, the plank of fighting against corruption has always stayed and will always stay with Aam Aadmi Party. Now, to your point around exit polls, again, I would not like to go into the numbers. We should all wait and watch for February 8th. As I said, we are very, very confident of forming government again in Delhi. And as I said, I would not like to comment on the numbers because the numbers can vary, but we should land anywhere in the range of 55 plus minus 5 seats. Let's have this debate again on 8th of February and we'll talk with exact numbers.
Absolutely. I have qualified for the last 3 years. That's exactly what I've been doing multiple times at the cost of repeating myself and irritating viewers, that these are exit poll numbers. They can go wrong. They can be proved correct on February 8th. You can decide whether you want to believe them or not. But Ashutosh Ranka, are you telling me then that this election is a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal? if the Aam Aadmi Party is voted out of power, then then Arvind Kejriwal will accept that the people of Delhi think he's corrupt, because that is what
See,
you're saying.
at the end of the day, Shreya, the mandate of people is above and beyond everything. That's the basic tenet of democracy. So all said and done, whatever the voters of Delhi choose, we'll respect their mandate. But as I said, this is definitely a referendum or Arvind Kejriwal's brand of politics. This is definitely a referendum or Arvind Kejriwal's honesty and integrity. And that is why we are very, very confident that Arvind Kejriwal is going to take the oath of Chief Minister again this February.
Okay.
Mr. Ranka comes on national TV and he says, look, we will accept whatever the verdict of the people of Delhi is. And if they agree to the verdict of the peoples of Delhi, why have you been cribbing about the election commission, the EVM, everything? They've just been complaining since day one, making up stories with no evidence, point number one. And what is cool is that, okay, you accept the verdict of the people of Delhi because you know you've lost the election. Well, otherwise, which political party accepts it? I mean, I've never heard of any politician accepting of this. The fact that you're accepting it on national TV, and this coincides with what Arvind Kejriwal said. He said, we are getting only 55 seats from 63. He's accepted he's coming down, which means the reality is they know that they're not getting those numbers. And again, since 2 days, all they've been saying is money is being distributed, ink is being put, with no evidence. Just like the genocide, just like the murder plan, no evidence. They've just been attacking the election commission.
Are they paying for that exaggeration, or is the BJP reaping the benefits of reducing our taxes, of announcing as many and more freebies than the Aam Aadmi Party? Plus, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party facing anti-incumbency. Pradeep Mahar, you wanted to come in, you were smiling. Give me a minute, Ashutosh. Let Pradeep Mahar come in. Mr. Mahar, why were you smiling when Tehseen was speaking?
Yeah, because it was very surprising from the part of Tehseen, because of the first time he was speaking in favor of EVMs. Earlier I've heard him; he was always against EVMs. Thanks. At least for the first time. Yeah. Whatever.
He's saying no.
No.
He's saying I'm not against
May I just clarify my position? I've said, may I just clarify? I've always said the only thing with EVMs is do 100% VVIP tallying. वो कर लो, and because opposition is asking, whoever's in opposition, do about 4 or 5 constituencies, ballot the remaining EVMs. But beyond that, I've never said anything. I've said, do 100% tallying, आप 5% कर लो, 100% कर लो, so the topic ends. मैंने कब कहा? मैंने बताओ मुझे.
We'll have a separate debate on that.
Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, the point is that this Delhi election, it was not all about seats. No, this election was for the change, and people of Delhi were facing like anything. Because Arvind Kejriwal was putting on all excuses and he did not actually do anything for Delhi as people were expecting. He had a lot of commitments, he wanted to do
नहीं,
lot many
उनको
things.
तो 1.5 years के लिए आपने जेल में डाल दिया.
This election.
Manish Sisodia को भी जेल में डाल दिया. So that is what he has said. These people put me in jail. I couldn't work for you.
Look, for how many months? I mean, if Chief Minister is in jail, what about his team? His team was sleeping. So now, as they have a different Chief Minister, that Chief Minister will not be working at all. So understand, this situation can be continued. And then even after the election, in case they would be winning, then in that condition, Arvind Kejriwal, if he goes to the jail, ultimately, some other person has to be the Chief Minister. So he'll not be able to perform. The other Chief Minister will not be able to perform. So this is the kind of excuses these people have. So people of Delhi are fed up with the excuses, and this election is just for the change because people of Delhi wanted some new kind of a government, BJP government, so that they can do something better for them. And they have a lot of expectation. And definitely, as I heard Ashutosh, he was saying that this election is a referendum for Arvind Kejriwal. Definitely, it is going to be a referendum for Arvind Kejriwal. If in this election Arvind Kejriwal is defeated, if he is not able to form the government, then we can again come here and discuss, and the resultant would be that people have rejected Arvind Kejriwal's, empty words of corruption. As he was he had empty words of corruption.
I'll give Mr. Ranka 20 seconds to respond. Then I have to go to Ruhi Tiwari. Mr. Ranka, 20 seconds respond. You're putting up your hand, then I have a question for Ruhi.
No, I just have a very small comment. At least I see that, the confidence of BJP quite shaky. They are already talking about who the chief minister is going to be when Aam Aadmi Party, which will definitely happen, will form the government. All I can say to Mr. Pradeep is don't
No, no,
worry
no, no,
about
no.
that. We have got it
I
covered.
was.
You will know
Let me
Arvind
make it
Kejriwal
very
will be the
clear.
chief minister of Delhi
Actually,
and
even
will
I'm
form
very
the government
interested
with
in knowing
comfortable majority.
who the chief minister is going to be if our Aam Aadmi Party comes back to power. Can Mr. Arvind Kejriwal actually become the chief minister? एक तो सवाल ये भी है.
No, that's
Ruhi
what we
Tiwari,
are talking
anyhow,
about. No?
can I just ask you if this is simple anti-incumbency that has kicked in? We've talked about it a bit, but is that what you sensed on the ground? That for the people of Delhi, if Aam Aadmi Party is giving you free Bijli Pani, well, the BJP is also saying we'll continue with these quote-unquote welfare measures. Free Bijli Pani aapko milta rahega. When it comes to giving doles to women and freebies and money to women, hum aapko zyada denge. So there was anti-incumbency plus the fact that whatever the Aam Aadmi is offering us, the BJP will offer us as well. So let's just try someone else. Was that sense on the ground as well?
Sorry, Shreya, is that question for me?
Yes, Ruhi, that's for you.
Yeah. So, see, obviously after over a decade in power, there will be anti-incumbency, right? It cannot be any other way, which is exactly why I said it at the beginning of this discussion, that there is a big gap which voters are talking about, which voters are highlighting, which is a big problem for the Aam Aadmi Party, which is completely, visible lack of development on the infrastructure front. And whoever comes to power in Delhi now, whether it's the BJP or whether it's the Aam Aadmi Party, will have to make that a priority. You cannot let voters continue to talk about what Sheila Dikshit did 15 years ago. I don't think that's how it works in the national capital. It has to change. Even the Aam Aadmi Party will have to change its approach. Is there massive anti-incumbency? I don't think so. I still maintain that among the poor and the economically disadvantaged classes, Aam Aadmi Party continues to have a hold, and which is what I want to say, as my closing remark, that even if the Aam Aadmi Party loses this election and the BJP forms a government, you cannot write the party off, because it has a hold, a base among a certain section of voters, which is a very powerful section of voters, and that base continues to remain. So even if it's in the opposition, you cannot just say, oh, it's the end of the Aam Aadmi Party and it's a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal and he's, out of politics, etc., etc. It's not going to work like that. In politics, we always say never, but particularly in this case, when a party has a certain vote bank, which it continues to cultivate, which it continues to maintain, then even if it's in the opposition, you cannot write it off. It will continue to remain a force in Delhi, and which is actually a cause of worry for the Congress, because what the Congress needs to do is find its way back, crawl its way back into politics in Delhi, which is something it's failed to do over the last 15 years.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. We'll leave it there for the moment. I think enough has been said today.
Yeah, Ruhi's right on the fact that the Congress has completely lost in Delhi. They seemed lost, and I think that's sad, because if any development happened in Delhi, it was the Congress. But the thing is, also some of the Congress leadership.
15 साल पहले जो बात हुई उसको you can't remind people.
I agree with you. I agree
people
with
want
you.
new ideas.
They should have fought even harder.
Fresh ideas. You
I
need new
agree.
faces. Anyhow, we'll see if these numbers hold, ladies and gentlemen. But the numbers are on your screens. These are exit poll numbers. February 8th is when the real numbers will be out. Will they match the numbers on your screens today? We'll just wait and watch. But if these numbers stand, then the BJP poised to form the government in the national capital, and the Aam Aadmi Party, well, they will have to sit in opposition, but it will be a strong opposition, as Ruhi says, not just because they will have 29-30 seats, but also the fact that they are a feisty lot. They'll keep the BJP on their toes. Pradeep Mahor, thank you very much. Tehseen, thank you very much. Ashutosh Ranka, thank you very much. See you on the 8th. And Advocate Kapil Madan, thank you very much. Ruhi, good to have you on the show. See you on the 8th as well. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap from me. Thank you for watching. Shreya joining you up next with all the day's headlines. Do stay with us.